everyone. If I haven't met you yet, my name is Melissa Seep. I would also like to introduce my family, my partner Kevin. We have two daughters, Annalie, 4, and Lucy, who is 2. I'm sure many of you in the back probably know Lucy, as she often likes to play peekaboo during service. But we are new to the church here, and I have been asked to share why we have chosen to do so. So a little background. Although I personally had not attended or belonged to a church since high school, as my children were growing, I felt it was very important to introduce them to God. I wanted them to know right from wrong. I wanted to teach them to love, to help others, to be selfless, humble, and grateful and kind. Essentially, I wanted them to learn by the golden rule: do unto others as you would have done to you. So the idea of finding a church to help instill these values and the love and the light of God had been in my mind for quite some time. Growing up, I often remember being bored in church. I would count the pews or how many blue or green stained glass windows I could find. But my mother always pushed us to go regardless, as she has always known the love and the importance and power of God. On the contrary, I recall church camp. Going for my first time in middle school, it was there that I felt a new community. It was there that I was first given one of my own Bibles that I began to read and mark passages that actually spoke to me. It was there that my personal relationship with God began to grow. And it's all of these moments and those lessons that and experiences that I want my children to have as well. So as Annalie was enrolled to start preschool right in the basement here, I decided, well, why don't we start our search here? We'll see how it goes, and if nothing else, the exposure to the space and place will help Annalie in her transition into preschool. But I had no idea how lucky we were going to be in that search. I never imagined that my children would soon be asking me on a Wednesday morning, "Can we go to church today?" I would like to read part of a message that I sent to my sisters when I asked them to be Annalie and Lucy's godmothers this last spring. It was me explaining this church to them for the first time. The church we are going to is literally the church that I would have hoped for. LGBT plus inclusive. They do community service events to help people in need. They start each service with, no matter who you are, where you are at in life's journey, you are welcome here. They are so accepting, so inclusive of children in church, so it is not boring for them at all. God is referred to as Father, Mother, or any other preferred name of your choosing. They play instruments, and they have special choir performances, and everybody claps and cheers about it. I love it. They take Bible stories and they admit how atrocious the literal interpretation would be this day and age. Instead, they interpret the underlying messages and that we should take from it, and they make remarkable, relatable references. It's all about being a good human and helping your neighbors. I didn't realize that I would ever be this excited to go back to church again, but they have made faith about what it means to you or me instead of how one should be or should feel. I suppose that was my first unofficial testimonial. But the first time that we as a family walked in the doors here, we were greeted as if everyone was already waiting for us. The next time that we came, they remembered us. They remembered our children's names. We felt like we were seen and we were wanted. We felt like we were home. When I had asked when I hear Pastor Laura say each week that no matter who you are, where you are at in life's journey, you are welcome here, I tear up every time because I know that she truly means these words. I can feel her love and her passion. It is the feelings such as these that have made this congregation what it is to me and my family. These feelings are the feelings that have connected us to God's love. When I first reached out to Pastor Laura about the girls' baptism, I was nervous. I didn't know how anyone would respond to our untraditional situation of baptizing 2 children at once. We're an unmarried couple. Neither one of our children is an infant, but I still wanted my children to have this. I wanted the girls to know that they are loved by God and part of God's family. I wanted to make promises to God as a family that we would always follow him and lead our children in love and light and teach them to help others. I even suggested to Pastor Laura doing a private baptism, as I didn't want to cause any extra hassle or inconvenience. The church was undergoing transition at the time, as Pastor Laura had just stepped into the interim pastoral role after Pastor Kent had retired. And you guessed it, she replied with nothing but love and excitement. Instead, she insisted that baptism should never be private. It's about community, and it's about the opportunity for the congregation to also make promises to help us lead and teach our children the lessons and love of God. And so that's what we did. And it has been this love from this community, from all of you, that has continued to draw us here. The missions of this church, the community outreach to the people who are incarcerated, people who don't have homes or food, women who are living in shelters with their children. This church actually helps others and treats everyone as fellow humans. This church lives the lessons that I want my children to know. That not one of us is more or less deserving of love. Love is for all of us, and it is our job to give it where it is needed. I love the joy and the celebration of the music here. I love, as I said, how the people clap and show gratitude for the gifts of music that are shared in service. The way that it is used for us to meditate on the lessons given, instead of just moving on to the next thing. I love this church's bravery to discuss difficult topics, such as depression, sexual orientation, dementia, death of loved ones, addiction, the dangerous realities that our environment is facing. The list goes on. But essentially, the hard things that affect each of us every day are often dismissed, suppressed, and undiscussed. This church has given me a renewed spiritual connection. It has given me a new community, a safe place to be me, for everyone to be you, for us all to be accepted. It has given me a sense of belonging. It has given me a calm. And most importantly, in a world that is full of fear and uncertainty, this church, all of you, give me hope. So it is for these reasons that I proudly pledge to give my financial support to the ongoing journey of this congregation. And I hope that you will all join me, and we can imagine together a world that is filled with promise and love for all.